Brian here from We Are Media. If you're here, you probably know me. I am here with my good friend Sami Ali, one of the dopest creators I know. Super good singer. Not bad looking guy, I guess. Not as good looking as me, but whatever it is.
I'm okay.
So
I'm all right.
great looking guy. Pull that down to you a little bit so you get more comfortable with it. Get a little intimate with it.
Well, should I hold it from the shaft to pull it down from the bottom, or should I cradle it? I don't know. I watch too many movies.
That's kind of one thing I've always liked about you is how funny you can get about things.
I tried, dog. I tried, but yeah. My name is Sami. I go by the artist name Sami The Collector, and I've actually been friends with Brian for most of my adult life. Really, he's actually one of the first people that I started doing music with in his bedroom in the hood on 10th Street. Yeah, that was good times. Right across the street from the Kroger. Yeah. People used to get stabbed over there.
Come back from that mic.
So, yeah. But
yeah, people did. I hated that neighborhood. Like that was something so big for me. It was like I got to get out of here. I remember when I first met you though with Schizo. Yeah. He had the little studio building on the
Black
south
Diamond side. Productions. I remember that.
That's where I actually. This is a funny song, but I come up with that song "Big Round White Booty."
Yeah.
It was just a funny song. We was trying to get the levels right for when you got there, so I just kind of was like, I'll freestyle something in there just so we can check these levels before. This guy, because Schizo was hype. I got something so dope for you, bro. You're gonna love it. And then he brought you. I was like, this is what was so dope. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like 15-year-old Sami was super dope.
Is that how old you were then?
I think so. I was like, no, I was in like 15, 16, 17. I think I was going to the hookah bar. So yeah, so 17, 18.
Yeah,
17, 18.
I think you were a new adult, fresh adult. It was so fun to meet you though, because you started singing. I was like, this dude is fucking dope, bro. Okay. And you've got just so much doper over the years. Like I even went back to hear all the old music we used to make together, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cringe. And I remember just loving it so much then. Yeah. But then I hear your music now, I'm like, what the fuck?
It's crazy though, because like back in the day, that music was dope. It's crazy how like much the time has changed with like music back then to music now though. So.
That's a good place to start. Like, what do you think changed from when we did music 15 years ago to now? What do you think is so different?
Like with us or just in general?
In general.
I don't know. I just think like just people's creativities changed. We had a lot more like drugs. So like people just I don't do any, right, but I feel like people just expand their mind so much now that nothing's the same at all ever, right? So like, and then it's crazy because like when you make a song and the first thing that people will say is like, oh, that song is dated, that music sounds dated, it sounds like some stuff that happened in the past,
right?
But in reality that stuff used to be super dope, but like now everything is like so different. People use different sounds and different like cadences in their music, or like now it's like mumbling, and it's just like newer things sound better to people nowadays versus it's kind of like, with our parents, right? We used to be in the kitchen. They used to listen to like the old rock, right? And then we'd just be like, damn, this kind of sucks. I love it now, but it's just a different taste that just like carries on over the years, and you never really notice it. Like, as you start to get older, right? So
I see that, but then I see something else at the same time. I see like, if you go back to like old Master P stuff, like, just to follow along with what you said, that old Master P stuff, it's so trash. Yeah, terrible. If you hear it now, it's like the strengtheners and the libs were just all over the place. The production was so trash, but it blew up then. It was good then. So it makes me think that now, not only are people evolving, I think people evolve
and take drugs
all the time. Drugs, I guess, but technology evolves as well.
True. Yeah.
So not everybody had a studio back when we started. There was maybe 2 in the city, maybe 3, so if you weren't like super grinding, you weren't able to record. Now you could throw a rock and hit 12 studios right now, and they all sound really good.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed when I quit engineering for a while, and then I brought back engineering and started doing it, I was, I had like a preset thing going on to where you could just record. I mean, obviously you had to tweak it some, but you could just record and it would sound better than everything I did 15 years ago. So I would say technology, the new people evolving, technology evolving. I think it all has a little bit to do. And then a lot of people, it's hindsight too, because back in the day you could say this was trash, but these people walked so people now could run. Yeah. So when I say Master P and them, their production was so ass, it's kind of unfair because they didn't have the same lanes we did. So they had to walk so people like us could run.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I mean music's changed so much. Like there's like, and you're right. Like nowadays you go into the studio and like the same production could be created in somebody's closet versus, you know, somebody paying, you know, $130 an hour at a big time studio, and like they can get almost every single plugin that's in a big studio in their house. And truthfully, speaking on that, a lot of my best music is created from a home studio, right? Now, given, right, you know, the people who have those home studios, they do have kind of, you know, expensive equipment, but, you know, it just shows you that you don't have to go out and, you know, spend tons of money at a studio, because like if you learn the craft, there's plugins and there's YouTube, you can do that shit at home.
Yeah,
I can cuss, right?
And yeah, you're
okay. All right.
And even the stuff that's made at home now is better than the stuff you would get at some of the big studios back in the day.
Right, because you're not a lot of times you're not time. You go like normally when I go to the studio, I'm so fucking stressed out because like I'm like I booked 3 hours, right? And I got to get my shit done in 3 hours. I hate leaving the studio when a song is not finished, right? So I would like try to track it really fast. But then when you do something at your home studio, you can take your time. You can pace it. Like when you're with your bros, you can fucking, bro, let's order some DoorDash. Let's eat some chips. Let's shoot the shit. But when you go to an actual studio and you're paying for your time, like you're on that timer, you got to rush. A lot of times I go in there and, you know, I got my stuff. I normally when I record, I have all of my stuff prepared anyways. But like, you know, I do a take and I'm like, okay, do it again. I do a take. I do it again. Do a take. Do it again. And then like after the third time, I'm like, fuck, let's move forward because I'm wasting time, right?
Right.
Because I don't want to pay more money to have them like. So, but when I'm at home, I'm like, okay, we do it again. Does that sound good, bro? All right, I'm gonna do it again, and you can take all the time you want, and the process is longer. But I create some of my best music that way, just because like I have more time to actually vocal produce myself and
you're not rushing it.
Right.
That which is funny because I just listened to the Wiz Khalifa MGK album yesterday, and we just could not help but know that it was rushed. You could tell that they had probably a few days together, maybe a week together, and they had to get all this stuff done. And then it's just both of these artists are really good artists. Yeah. And the album was just pretty mediocre.
They didn't even know they created an album, bro, to be honest.
That's what it felt like probably to me too, because I don't think, even though I listened to it, I don't think I knew they created an album. But it was just, you could tell that everything was a rush process. And I just think things like that need time. These are timeless things that last longer than you do.
Right.
You're gonna die one day and all your music is gonna be there. Do you want it to be something that you had to throw together a week, or do you want to just take time and really make each song good? Cut out what's not good. Make each song just something that fills in forever. Because you know that these two good artists didn't hear every one of those songs that was going.
Yeah, they just said run.
They just tied. They was like, oh, this is what we got. This is the time we got. We got to get it out then. Which ruins the process for me. I would have been happier with one really good single, you know, than a whole album of whatever you threw together.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that so much. Anyway.
I mean, it comes. I mean, it's crazy how just time works. Like, I've known you for, I would say at least 15 years.
It's got to be close to
15, 16 years. And it's like, just looking at where you came from start, I don't even want to say finish, but like you started off as a rapper, right? People went to your house to start creating music. Now you're making videos, right? Now you're all over the city doing like videography and different things like that. You stopped making music, which I think was a terrible idea. But I mean, I still think to this day you're one of the best lyricists I've known. But
thank you.
Now you're doing like, you're working with like Sony, and you know you're working with a lot of these different big time like musicians, and like doing tons of like documentaries, and you're doing a podcast for another big time person. What's his name?
Lance Stephenson.
Lance Stephenson. Is that a basketball player?
He is. He was a pacer.
All right, there we go.
One of the coolest pacers ever, by the way.
But yeah, I mean, you're just into like these super dope spaces, and not even that, but then you made a movie,
Yeah.
right? That's fucking killing it, right? And then in different countries as well too. So like, it's crazy. And then like, now you're writing a book.
Wrote a book.
You wrote a book. It's finished.
It'll be here tomorrow. Yeah.
What the first question I want to ask you is, what the fuck did you put as your cover for the book? Did you put like a fucking pow, like a staple of your face on there smiling?
Oh no, because I didn't want it to be like me. I didn't want to lure people away.
Okay.
This book was to bring value to people. I feel like if you can do good in the world, that it's your obligation to.
Okay.
Like if you see somebody bleeding on the ground, do you just walk by them or do you help them? It's kind of my process here. So I didn't want to make it about me. So it's really just it's a blue cover with the words on there. That's literally
interesting.
It. Yeah. No ego on there. No nothing. I do have a picture of my face on the very back, just as the author.
Yeah.
But speaking of the book, and then speaking of why I quit music, I touch on why I quit music in the book.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a pretty big part of my life, and I needed to let people know. Because it kind of reads like a memoir at first, and then it goes to what brings the value. So I had to let people know what my challenges were.
Yeah.
And to me, even my healthier outlets were becoming places to hide. Mm-hmm. So I needed to face a lot of dark truths about myself. And music was one of the places when I would feel dark, I would go hide there.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to leave. It was like, I forget the dude. He brought all the boats to the shore. And they were going to war, and he was like, burn all the boats, and we either win or we die. And that was kind of my thing there. It's like, I either win or I die, because I did not want to leave my place, anywhere to go. And then after a few years, it was just like, I found new callings. Like I did the videography thing, and I kept that going. And I just found new ways to create without it being music. I still have so much love for it.
Yeah.
And I revisit it from time to time. But I just had so much more for my life, too.
So I know that there's going to be like a lot of people watching this because they support you, right? So all your friends, all your friends. Right. But for the people who don't know Brian, right, if you could describe your story in one sentence, how would you explain your story? Like if you could describe the story
in one word.
I just hear it.
Resilience.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
You knock me down 100 times, I'll get up 101.
Fair enough. So what kind of made you like wake up one morning and be like eating your bowl of cereal, or if you like to drink grass, right? You like to drink grass shavings. So when you woke up one morning and you go outside and you get your lawn clippings and you put them into the cup, right? You add some goat milk because you're on this health kick. What made you just like get a flashback or just like some fucking like That's So Raven like future sense and go, I want to write a book and I'm gonna do it.
That's first of all, you're hilarious. It wasn't a one-day thing. Like, these were things that I always wanted to put out there. I never knew how, because I've had these, like, deep little stories about myself or about how my trauma was formed, right? And first I thought maybe I could put it in a movie. And then I was like, well, I don't want to put anybody I love on blast, like my mother, but I had to cover some things on there that, might make her not look good at the first part, but I made sure to know that we have such a healthy relationship now, and I love her now. So it wasn't a one-day thing. It was like more of, I'm going to continue to build on the process of becoming the butterfly from the caterpillar. And by the time I feel like I can lead by example, that's when I'll put it out. And so recently, like this year has been the best year ever for like my business, my parenting. Everything just feels like it's coming together for me. And when you come from where I come from, it felt like I made it.
Yeah.
At that moment, I was like, I finally made it. And now I can tell people who is in my position to do better. I used to feel like, who am I to tell anybody to do anything? Who am I? And then my friend told me, he said, just talk to your younger self. What would younger you have wanted to hear? What would younger you need to hear?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it came from. And I felt like I was finally at that position where I could give my younger self advice that if I followed it back then,
Yeah.
I would become great now.
So was there like, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Was there any moments where you were, sitting down, or even when you were thinking about the book, was there any moments where you were like, I think if I wrote this book, I feel like this book can help a lot of people who read it.
Every word.
Yeah.
That was my whole part of this book was, who can I help? Who can I bring value to? It was never about me. I honestly, I'm like leaning towards, I wanted to give it away for free.
Yeah.
But then again, shout out my guy Crack-A-Lack, he said something really powerful to me one day, because I told him the same thing.
He said, "What's crack-a-lacking?"
Well, he said, I told him the same thing. I was like, I want to help people, but I feel like I couldn't charge for it. And he was like, I understand that, but people pay attention to what they pay for. People who pay attention. People get something for free. You ever got something for free and it didn't have enough value to you? Like, even if it's the coolest thing in the world, they give you the greatest thing in the world, but you didn't buy it, so it wasn't that valuable to you. To an extent, of course. But it made a lot of sense. So when I charge for this, it's so that stuff has more value to you. So you don't just read it like it's another, oh, this was free, throw it to the back.
Yeah, like one of them
no,
Jehovah's Witness pamphlets.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you have to pay for this, so you'll pay attention.
Yeah. Can you imagine paying for a Jehovah's Witness pamphlet? Would you read it
if
you
they would do it like that? It could read better.
Yes, sir. This pamphlet's going to be $3.99. Would you like 4 of them for your entire family? No, I love that.
You're really good at the host thing. I'm supposed to be hosting you.
Oh, is that supposed to be? Is that the thing?
No, you're fucking great at this.
I just have a lot of. I'm just curious. I just want to know about your. Like, one of my good friends is making a book, so I just have a lot of questions. Right?
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Don't get it wrong. Like, I am so stoked that it's not only another accomplishment to me, though. I feel like I can actually give something back to the world.
Okay, I'll let you host. I'll sit back because I got a whole list.
I love it, man. Hey. Dude, that's super prepared. I love that you came to ask me questions too, because I'm excited, especially the book, because I want to promote that so bad.
Yeah, it's super dope.
I want to help people so much. I don't know any other way to do it but to explain. It was kind of embarrassing. There's some really embarrassing parts in that book. I was vulnerable, but I felt like if I went around these bad parts of my life, that it wouldn't have had as much of an impact. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
If I just skip around it like my life was some neatly wrapped story, like one day I woke up and had it all together. It's
That's
like,
how I would write a book.
I would. Well, I'd have been lying.
I put fucking explosions in there. Like, I walked down. There was an ambulance who kind of derailed and almost hit me, and that was the moment that I realized that I needed to save people. I just fucking make it exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is fun too. It has its place too. So I'll just ask you a super simple question about music. I want to go to the music, and I got some lifestyle questions.
Yeah.
Like, I personally want to know about you.
Okay, yeah,
because
sure.
Like the way, you know what? I'll go right into it, right?
Okay.
Because you've always carried yourself really well. Like, I joked about it with you before that you carry yourself like a rich man.
Yeah,
and I mean that literally.
Yeah.
You have like a half a mansion, you drive a Porsche and a Tesla, and like you even have like little jaw surgery. I don't know if you want me to. I'll cut that out.
No, you're good. No,
it's like, not to get too personal, but you guys have done some cosmetic things. You and your wife has done, and there's a lifestyle behind that. And I guess I want to know if that lifestyle attracts better people. Or do you think people are kind of using you for that lifestyle? Do you feel like if you pulled up in a Honda today, you would get the same respect that you would get if you pulled up into a Porsche?
To be honest, no. And the reason why I said that, and that's a good thing that you bring up, because because I wasn't always where I'm at, right? If we're talking about life, I mean, you knew when I was growing up, like, I didn't get my driver's license until I was 21. I didn't start driving until I was 21. I didn't get my first car until I was 22. And my first car was like this fucking 1996 red fucking Pontiac Firebird, right? And then I was driving on the interstate, the fucking brake line went out, and I crashed. I actually drifted it because I was showing off, and I thought I could drift, and I drifted it and ran it into the Popeye's chicken by my house. And then after that, I didn't have a car for a while, but so like I I know how people react to people, right? So that's one thing I've always been good at, is kind of like knowing the psychology and like, just how people think sometimes, right? And it just, most of the time, people won't talk to you unless they think that it's beneficial for themselves.
Ooh.
Right? And so like, they won't give you the time of day, right? So like, and it's all a mental thing. And I learned this the hard way, because I fell victim to this as well, right? I used to work at a phone store, Boost Mobile, back on 38th in Meridian, super ghetto store, right?
I know, I used to pick you up from there.
Yeah, bro. And then so like a dude came into the store, and then and it's crazy how it happened, because this guy came into the store and he chain fucking decked out, came in like and he walked in, was like, hey, I'm looking for a phone. And I'm thinking he has money just by the way he's dressed, right? And so I'm like giving him my full attention. Like, yeah, let me help you out. I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm going to make the most commission off this motherfucker, right?
Right.
And then he was like, nah, bro, I just want the cheapest phone. Like, I got this much budget to work with, right? And so, I didn't think of anything like that. So I gave him the cheapest phone. He didn't buy any accessories, no phone case, nothing. He went on his way. And then later on that day, some guy came in. He had like flip-flops on, holes in his pants. His hair was super greasy. He just looked like he didn't take a shower. And he was just walking around the store. And I'm like, this dude, this bum ass motherfucker is gonna come in here and not buy shit, And it was towards the end of the day, and I'm like, I'm ready to go home, right? Kind of like how those people were at the smoothie place where they're like, hey, our credit card machine's not working, but
Yeah.
So I'm doing anything to tell him to leave, and so he was like, no, I wanna, I'm interested in the phone, and then so I'm like, whatever, and he ends up buying, more of the story, like he ends up buying 6 iPhones of the newest iPhones at that time, and then I'm like, what the fuck? And so then he walked out the store. He had like the newest Corvette at the time and different things like that. But it kind of shows you how like people are drawn to what they see, right? They don't have to know your backstory. They just know everything from the cover.
Right.
Nobody's going to know you for who you really are. That's on the internet, right? So if you're posting on the internet that you have a Honda Civic, or if you have a fucking, if you're riding the bus every day, right? You might be the coolest person in the world, but nobody's going to be like, okay, what could I can grow from this person, right? But if you're posting things that people want and people see, right, they're gonna be like, I like his lifestyle, right? I like, oh, he has a nice car. I want a car. And if they look at things and they kind of imagine themselves like, what is he doing that I can do to make that? Then they're going to give a little bit more attention to you, right?
Yeah.
And then so as you start to build that up and build it up, you have more eyes on you, right? Even if you're not fucking rich, right? Because I'm not rich and I struggle a lot, but I carry myself. And it's not fake, right? Because I'm still able to afford what I have, right? I can still afford what I have, but it's the fact that online, I don't tell my whole story online. I just basically put online what people can see. And like, I get messages all the time, bro, what do you do for work? Bro, what do you do for this? What do you do for that? What do you do for this? A lot of these influencers, they don't really tell people what's going on. They just have the facade of doing that. And then so that gets people's attention and people's like, this motherfucker's really doing it, right? So, but it also piggybacks off of like, yeah, people will fucking use you. Women will use you. Friends will use you, right? Because they all want to know if they're around you, what can you bring to them to elevate their life as well too? So,
which isn't always a bad thing. It's like, I don't want to hang out with like bums or anything.
Right.
I've came too far for that.
Right.
So I guess that makes sense. If somebody's carrying themselves really low, it's just weird because I know that there's like super rich people that drive old cars and do things. And I guess there's just levels.
Yeah.
Like while you're building, I think it's important to have a good look. I've always just been so humble, like a black shirt, black shoes. I don't really care. I drive an Acadia. But I've always been like, I can't just drive something super trash. I cannot pull up to a set and like some old, loud, beat up car. It doesn't have to be the coolest, nicest car in the world, but it has to be, I have to, because I'm selling a lifestyle too, especially for what I do. I can't just have people like, what is this guy gonna bring to the table?
Right.
I come in a whole hillbilly truck all beaten down and stuff.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, gross. I come dirty or something like that. Gross. People don't take you serious. Like, I feel like there's a good nuance there.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're onto something. That's why I asked you, because when you do that, like you come in on the Porsche and stuff, people just automatically vibe to you. They're like, oh, this dude, it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think you're onto something. I think that it attracts more people, but you have, like you said, people will use you, women use you. You have to find that balance of,
right.
you know.
And I'm not telling the world fake it till you make it, right? Don't be a fake persona on the internet, right? Don't be some whack dude who's like, you know, making the world believe that.
Now, you don't fake it, bro.
Yeah.
Your refrigerator talks to me when I walk by. It's so weird. I walk by it and the thing's like, ding, ding. I drew a face on it the other day.
It's still there, actually.
It's still there?
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it's just like, you kind of have to, like, do it according to what you're doing, right? So, like, you just like how the rich people, bro, I'm friends with millionaires, right? You know, and a lot of them don't have super fancy cars, you know, either, just because they're already there.
Yeah,
right?
they're already there. They
right.
don't need to.
They don't need to, but in the beginning, right, you know, they're posting and it just depends on what kind of career you're in. Like if you own businesses, or if you're doing things like, you know, like, I guess like business to business, you know, different things like that, like, you know, like e-commerce or sales, or you just own a tech company or a SaaS company, like you don't really like, it's the company that's facing people, it's not you, right? But if you have to sell yourself as a person, right, and you have to sell yourself, then that's different.
Yeah.
Right. If you're selling a product or an item or something that to do with your company, that's different. Right. Like because like, you know me for me. Yeah. Right. Like when you come into my house, bro, I'm bumming all the time. Like I'm like I don't have anything.
We were friends long
right.
before that.
So I don't have like anything like name brand. I don't even go shopping for my clothes. Like I'm the most chill, relaxed person you ever meet, dude. I play board games every Saturday. I fucking play Magic the Gathering and watch anime. Right. But when people see me online, they're like, this motherfucker is traveling. He's doing music. He's doing all the different things. That's just for them to see. So then when I'm presenting something, right, or I'm trying to sell something, or I'm trying to do something that's involved with just me as a person, all these people are like, I trust him because he knows what he's doing. Yeah. Right. So
it's really, I see the psychology behind it. I definitely see it. Do you think if you like pulled up in something shitty the next day, or like have like a little house or something, do you think you would lose friends or something for that?
Well, I wouldn't say friends, but it's crazy because I see it though. You know, like there was one time where and I might be getting into some, you know, you guys are gonna know some things about Sammy, but there was one time where, you know, I wanted to pay my Porsche off faster, right? And so my wife's car and the Porsche were both under the same company that we're paying through, right? The same loan company. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna pay double payments on my Porsche until it's paid off, because I only owed like $9,000 left, so it was like at the end of it. And so I was like, we'll just knock this out. But then I forgot that I put my Porsche on auto payments twice, and then I thought that, so when I was looking at my bank statement, I was like, oh, this payment came out twice, so my car's paid, my wife's car is paid. No, my Porsche was getting paid twice, but I forgot to put my wife's car on auto payment as well, and I forgot it. And I was like, 2 payments are coming out, but it was supposed to be 3 payments coming out. And then my wife called me one day. She was like, did you take my car to work? I'm like, no. And they repoed it, right? So they took her car, and then so I called, and I was like, hey, I'm calling to make the payment again. And they were like, well, in order to get your car out of the pound, you have to pay the full balance of the vehicle. And it was like $37,000. And I was like, fuck that. So we had to get an emergency car, and then we got like this little Toyota CR-V or something. And I remember it was like a little super tiny car, right? And I fucking loved it. You know, it was like $20 to fill the shit up, you know what I mean? Versus $140 to fill up the Porsche. And when I would drive it around, I would pull up to these places, people would look at me completely different. They'll look at me normal.
Ooh.
Right? And then so it didn't bother me, but it's something that I always kept in the back of my head. You know what I'm saying? Like I would pull up, you know, to the store, I'll pull up to a restaurant, I'll pull up to, like McDonald's or something like that. Or even like if I'm going to a restaurant and like there has valet parking and we would take her car, people will just always treat you a little different, right? You know, they won't be as nice, or they won't be as like, you know, personable, or they'll just ignore you. Versus like when I pull up in my Porsche, everybody's like, oh, hey, how you doing? How's your day? Blah, 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 blah. I remember one time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, me and my wife, we went to Keystone the Crossing because she wanted to get a Coach purse. And we walked in there, everybody ignored us. And I'm like, oh, nobody wants to buy a purse? I mean, nobody wants to make commission? Because I've been in sales. You know, when you make a sale, you get some commission. Nobody approached us. I mean, I was also in flip-flops and stuff like that. And then, like, because through the store, through the glass, you could see what kind of car we pulled up in. We pulled up in that CRV, right? And then they were like, "Oh, these motherfuckers is broke. They don't have anything." And so we were walking around, nobody said nothing, and then so like I see other people walking in. These people are going there greeting these people, and then we're just getting ignored because I have tattoos. Jordan has tattoos, so we just look like criminals, right? And then so finally somebody approached us. I approached somebody. I was like, "Hey, we're trying to get her into a purse, right?" And then they were like, "Oh, well, this is all of our clearance stuff over here." And like I was like, first off, I didn't ask for clearance. And so we ended up going and buying them, one of the most expensive purses they had. And then like I didn't want to, but it was more like me saying like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Right. And we went to the counter. They're like, "Did anybody help you with this purchase?" Fuck no. Nobody's getting this fucking commission on this handbag. And and at that point, I never went back.
Of course.
Never went back
not.
ever. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's that human nature behind there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so weird. I don't think a lot of people see it. Like I know a few people that, will pull up to places and just look real bummy. They'll drive the worst vehicles and, the houses look the worst and stuff. And again, I'm a humble guy. So I don't do a lot, but I found a good balance that works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could be dumb rich. I could have like dumb money behind and nobody would ever know.
Right.
Because I like the lifestyle I have.
Yeah. And it's good.
And don't get me wrong, when I drove your Tesla, I was like, I damn near want one of these. But other than that.
Yeah, it is hard though. It's also hard to keep up. You know what I'm saying? And like, I've had some shit happen in life where, some of my things where I got some of my finances from slowed down. Right, and guess what does not slow down? Bills.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, what the thing about it is once, you start struggling on that, and then other people see like, oh, well, he's not driving this anymore, or he's not driving this anymore, then they're going to think like,
you fell off.
You fell off or something like that. So it sucks because
you got to give people something to follow too.
Right.
What's the old rock star saying? I'm not saying this is true all the time, but people want to be you, or people are going to hate you because they envy you.
Mm.
So either they're going to want to be you, or they want to envy you, or they're going to want to fucking kill you. And that's like the rock star way type shit.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see that. So basically there's a pressure of keeping that lifestyle for sure. And I see it for sure. There's definitely a pressure in it. I think it's cool though. I think it's cool how you've like built from the. I remember coming to get you from Boost Mobile sometimes way back in the day. My car didn't have a fender on it. It was loud. It didn't have a fender. Like we're struggle busing down 38th Street in Indianapolis. Ratchetest place. I really didn't care though. We were friends then, and I like to see my friends come up, as I'm sure you feel the same about me. That was actually a really good conversation. Let's dip into music. I don't know what our battery time's looking like on there. It's hard to see it from here, but let's just dip into music. I got some simple questions, really. Like, do you like when you drop? Right now, you signed with somebody that signed with, and so I'm assuming you're kind of trying to work your way in there.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal. Yeah, so I'm signed with Colt Graves.
Okay.
He signed me as an artist. And he signed to Timberland right now. He signed to that company, right? But we can't say it until it's official.
Oh.
It's okay. It's okay. So we'll bleep it out. We'll like he signed a bleep, and then he signed a bleep.
They're gonna see they're gonna see my mouth say it. Okay, anyway, sorry about that.
No, but yeah.
Does he, when he like tells you, I'm sure he has like a formula. So does he tell you that you should focus on singles or albums? What do you think the thing is for like an upcoming artist that's like got some buzz but looking for more, looking for that breakthrough moment?
So a good thing for artists is persistence and a lot of fucking content.
Yeah, so singles, basically.
Not necessarily, because right now we're working on an EP, right? That's our first project, was an EP. So our first project together, we're working on an EP right now. But we're focusing on one song. So we're pushing that single, yes, but that single is backed to an entire project, right? So like the song, and it's completely out of my ballpark range, but some people's dope, but the way Colt thinks is he's like, the thing about it is people are attracted to a certain sound. They're going to listen to the sound, and then you're going to be like, they're going to like, oh, this is a dope song. And then they're going to say, who the fuck is Sami the Collector, right? And then they're going to research it, and then they're going to discover the rest of your music, right?
Yeah.
And that's this thing. And then so he hasn't been wrong yet, so I'm working on it. And I personally hate the song that we're pushing, right?
Yeah, that actually puts me into my next question.
Yeah.
So go ahead,
Yeah.
and I'll run it through.
Yeah, so I hate the song because I'm a lover boy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my music is like, to be honest, right, if this is not a PG-13 podcast, but a lot of my music is about eating. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But a lot of my music is about like, having sex, making music, and I do have a lot of heartbreak music as well too, right? So, but this other one, is kind of like thug, he has me out with like my gold teeth and some change and a tank top, you know what I'm saying? Like saying fuck the world type stuff. So it's a little different, but it also has is pulling the most numbers and views and different things like that too.
So that's why I was going to ask you is, do you make money based off what performs best or what you like the most?
What performs best? There's a couple songs. I have a song called More of You that reached over 1 million streams, right? And I remember the day I dropped it, I dropped 2 songs, right? I dropped More of You, and then I dropped, what's that song? Ain't Me. It Ain't Me. And like, as I was releasing it, I was sending it to these 2 people, and I'm like, which one do you like better? And I know which one I like better, and it was Ain't Me.
Right.
And then everybody was like, oh, More of You. We like More of You better. And then I was like, oh. And the next person was like, I like More of You better. And I was like, oh. And it was like, I like More of You better. I was like, oh. And then so in my head, I was like, fuck that. I like this song better. So I'm going to put some promotion onto this song. So then I released More of You and Ain't Me at the same time, right? Some little A/B testing. And then I put money into a campaign on Ain't Me. And so that campaign ended with 6,000 listeners, right? More of You reached 1 million.
Wow.
Yes. So
it's not always about you.
It's not.
But More of You isn't a bad song, and I'm sure you wouldn't have made it if you completely hated it.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's probably good to find a balance. Like, okay, maybe this isn't my first pick. It's a good song, but this one is performing better. This is the one I need to push.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. That sucks. That was something I was terrible at.
Yeah.
Because I didn't care what anybody liked.
Yeah.
I was like, I do this because I'm traumatized and I need an outlet.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't ever care about blowing up off music. Mm-hmm. Like, it was fun to check the numbers sometimes, and some of the parody stuff would pop and go crazy, and that was super fun, but it was never my goal. And I think that's what kept me stagnant a lot, is because it was all about me.
Yeah.
And my art, and instead of what can I bring my soul in that the audience also wants. So you're not selling your soul and just doing anything anybody else wants. You're actually putting you into it. So it's like a collaboration thing.
Yeah.
Instead of just you, what you want, how you do it. It's me, what I want, also you, what you want. And I think that's really good for artists to hear. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's not always about them. It's not always about what you want perfectly. Put your soul and your life into it, but make sure that you are where the views are going to come in, or you're not doing yourself a service.
Yeah, because if you look at it differently, right? If you look at it differently, as an artist, you're a business. Yeah. Right? So like, you have to put your business and present your business to where people want to come to your store, right? Mm-hmm. They want to listen to your music. So like, the way I'm looking at it now is, I'm going to release music that the world wants to hear, but I'm also still going to create the music that I want to create, right? And then so as people listen, right, then they're also going to explore more. And then once they explore more, then, because the biggest mistake that people create at being musicians is that their genres are too broad, right? And they never stick a certain listener group, like a group of listeners, right? So they might make rock, they might make pop, they might make folk, and then it just spreads too thin. But if you focus and then get one listener group and then have them branch off from that, then it's a lot easier.
What was the moment you was like, I want to do music forever? You've kind of always dabbled in music, though, haven't you?
Man, like the moment that I started doing music.
Well, no, not really the moment you started doing music. You could cover that too, but more of the moment you were like, I think I can take this somewhere and I could make a living off of this. That's a hard place to get to. I never got to that moment.
To be honest, man, and I'm gonna be 100% real. Like, I started doing music because music was the only thing that I was good at. Truly, for real. Because like I've known I've owned multiple businesses before, right? I sold my businesses, like, you know, whatever. But like, I was never good at anything, like, besides singing. And then I taught myself how to sing because I used to sing like shit. Like, you listen to some of my old songs back in the day where you and I, you know, started versus my voice now. It's completely different, right?
I still thought you were good then. I don't think our production was up to par.
Yeah, but I could just tell myself with just like the way I sang, and but even prior to that too, I was, you know, it was a little worse. But the turning point is like I started just to release music here and there, and like I didn't really get noticed off of my music though. I got noticed off my capability of putting myself in front of people who I need to be in front of.
Yeah.
Right. And then so once I started doing that and I started having conversations, there hasn't been a single time where in the past, I should say, there hasn't been a single time where I posted my song and they were like, "We like you, Sammy. Let's talk business." Never. It was always like, I'm going to make these connections myself. Right. And then from these connections, I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to present my music and then build a relationship from there that kind of like flourishes into something different. And so that's how I got into my music career, just because I'm a very social person and I understand that network equals net worth. Right. So the more people you know, the easier it is for you to get where you want to go. Right. And that's how it's always been. But there was never like I've never like was like, damn, this song is dope. I'm going to try to be a millionaire. Let's be realistic, and I'm not trying to shoot anybody's dreams down, but being a fucking superstar sensation in music is probably one of the most difficult things, and there's a very small percent of people who actually make it, right? Half the time it's just a hobby for most people, right? So you have to learn how to treat it as a business and push yourself in front of people who you want to see, right? So like in at the end of the day, music can be pay to play as well, right? So if you're not putting time into your marketing in your the way you're presenting your music as well, then you're not going to get anywhere either, unless you're just waiting for that one TikTok song to go viral and then people find you from that. You have to personally place yourself in front of people to make things happen, really. So
yeah, but placing it, just to piggyback off of you, placing yourself just in front of anyone doesn't matter, and so, all the time it's like it's got to be the right crowd. So a lot of people that I do big packages for, they want to go viral a lot, and I'm like, yeah, being viral is okay for some things. Yeah, and I've went viral probably 30 times in my life. Some big stuff. Never got any business from it. Not one business adventure from being viral.
Can I say something really fast?
Yeah, of course.
I went viral on TikTok because I bought a computer, and the computer had a picture of Kirby pasted on it as a sticker with a massive penis. And that video had 3 million views, and from that 3 million views, not a single one of those people listened to my music.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I'm getting at. Every time I've went viral, I've never got a video customer, never got any clients or anything like that. So if I was to go shoot content for someone or a business, I would tell them first and foremost, do not worry about going viral. You get your local community involved into it first. So if you run a car business, you don't necessarily want to go viral because them are going to bring all the wrong people anyway. Like, even if it's bringing cool people, it's still bringing all the wrong people. You're better off. You'll probably get a lot more clients in your local area, 50 likes, 20 comments, you get 3 or 4 new customers per video. That's really where you want to go. So being viral and bringing in business are two totally different things, unless you're super monetizing on there.
Right.
And even that doesn't pay as much as people think it does. Like, every time I go viral, I think the most I've made, I got like 50 million views. It was like $800. What's $800 these days? Gas for the month? You know what I mean?
I have an electric car, so I don't know.
But yeah, that's huge. It's like being viral and bringing in business. I guess it just depends what you want. If you want just to be seen, cool. But a lot of the times it's not going viral for what you want to go viral for anyway.
Yeah, you're the guy with the Kirby dick on your computer.
Yeah, like
you didn't listen to my last single though? Fuck, guys, leak shit.
I want to that's actually hilarious. I want to lead back. You were a business owner, and feel free if you don't want to talk about it or anything. I remember you kind of opened my eyes up there, and you were running Level Up. And if I'm getting too personal again, I'll cut it out, whatever you want. But you told me it was like a while later, and you were like, I haven't made anything here. And it was like a year later. He's like, I haven't made anything yet. But you knew somehow that was going to be that. You weren't surprised about it or anything. So if somebody was going to start a business, like, what kind of advice would you give them about that? Because I think people think, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to finally get checks. I'm going to finally feel relief. And what would you let them know? Because I know you had to still work a full-time job, and you're running multiple businesses too.
Yeah, so that's a good topic, man. And a lot of people just don't have that business mindset. Like, there's been a lot of friends that I went into business with as well too, that just think that as soon as those doors opens, you're gonna make a lot of money, right? And that, sadly, it's not it. Like,
and why not? Why can't somebody just come in and make money?
I mean, it depends on what you're opening, but like if you're opening a brick and mortar, like you have to like. There's a lot of money that goes into it, right? There's a lot of time. So even if you started making money, you still have to. That money's not going nowhere. You got to make that money back, right? If you're spending $30,000 to $40,000 into your business, right? Are you going to make $30,000 to $40,000 back in that first year profit, or is that going to go back into your rent? Is that going to go back into your expenses? And the thing about
paying off your loans or anything else,
right? And the thing about it is, like, when I opened up Level Up, I was so excited to start a business. Because Level Up was a dream, because I'm a huge nerd, right? I wanted to open up a nerd spot for myself. But I've learned so much off of Level Up because I wasn't prepared. I was like, I want to own a GameStop. I want to go a place where people can go and just play video games and hang out. Nobody was fucking making money, right? I wasn't making money. Like, people got PlayStations at home, but yeah, the kid that's, who just got off of school can come in the lounge and play video games for 10 minutes while his mom is, doing some other shit down the street. You know what I mean? Like, that's different. But like, so then I had to switch my model, and I'm like, we're going to do board games and video games. And then that wasn't making, I needed more money. Then I switched my model, and I was like, and that's in multiple businesses. Like, I don't think you should expect to make any money from your businesses for at least a year to 2 years. Yeah. Just in general.
Just because everything's going to be going to bills and paying back loans and all the stuff, equipment you got to buy. Because even if you take $100,000 of your money and put it in your business, you're still $100,000 down.
Correct.
So even if you're making profit each month, you're still actually not making any profit until you cross that 100,000 threshold.
I won't say any names, and if they're watching it, if the shoe fits,
I'll fucking say a name.
If the fucking shoe fits. But I went to business with somebody who wanted to open up a business with me, right? And so we had an Excel spreadsheet, and we're like, okay, we put this much money in per person, right? And then the first week of sales, right? They were like, oh, well, we made this much money, so can I get my money back? And I just looked, and I was like, oh, you don't want to just use that to reinvest into the business and get more inventory so we can keep on doing more sales? Well, I kind of really need that money right now. Then I'm like, then you don't understand how business works. So I'm going to go ahead and pay this out to you, right? And so now we're short, $1,000, $2,000 from that. So now how are we going to buy inventory, right? And then so you got your money back. So you're now positive, but as far as the business
is negative.
Yeah, you made this money because we sold our product, right? So now we sold our product, and guess what? In order for us to make more money, we need to buy more product. Yeah. So how are you going to buy more product when you just took the money out? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's not how that works, right? So you got to make sure you're making money. You're making some profit. You get your margins right. So like when you're selling things, you're making some profit, and then it grows, and then eventually you can pay yourself back out. But if you're going into a business and you think that you're gonna fucking make some check, now if it's a service-based business,
yeah,
that's a little different.
I was gonna ask that next.
Right. If it's a service-based business.
Because like my business,
yeah.
you know, a lot of it's ran from home,
Right.
or I go to other places. Like I can make money
Mm-hmm.
almost immediately. You have to still take things into consideration. You got $10,000 camera rig, you got $20,000 worth of lights, whatever. So a lot of that does have to still go back, but I still understand it from the brick and mortar standpoint, especially like being around you. You've taught me a lot about that. I'm like, dude, because things you don't think about.
Yeah.
The things that you think about, oh, I go into this, I'm going to make some money. And that's when we were talking about getting a studio.
Mm-hmm.
I get kind of nervous.
Yeah.
And you're a big reason I got nervous because I'm like, I have to still pay my bills.
Yeah.
But I have to pay my bills. So I have to bring some profit.
Right.
There's no possible way
I never want to discourage anybody, but like I just don't want people making the same mistakes that I did because
I mean,
I was left with a lot of debt.
I
Right.
think when you are honest like that, people don't come in so naive, and they are forced to come in more prepared.
Yeah.
And being more prepared can set them up for more success later. Because how discouraged could you get if you think you're going to make money in the first 3 months and you're not even cracked a third of what you need to pay back?
Right. Because let's think about your business. Right. So like you keep almost 100% of your profit. Right. You do videos. You might have some crews that you have to pay out, or like you're traveling. Or
But
if you
it's
have any
so
help.
easy right there. You pay this,
Right.
and I.
Right. You say, hey, I'm going to do this video for you for $4,000. All right. And then you get that $4,000, you put a little bit aside for your taxes, and then you pay off any expenses if you had some help or some second hands or whatever. Right. Or if you have to use some of that to pay for like, you know, whatever props or any rentals, you know, different stuff like that.
Exactly.
So, but that's, you're running all of that from your house. You got your equipment. So if we're going to move into opening up an actual brick and mortar location, now you have a building, right? And then when you start, you have to pay first month, last month, security deposit, whatever. So whatever the business expense, a lot of places go by like dollar per square feet. It's almost rare now that they have a set price. Like this is $4,000 a month.
It's like $8 to $10 per square feet.
Yeah. So like now if you find something that's like, okay, let's just make it easy. This is 4,000 square feet, 4,000 square feet for $4,000 a month.
Yeah.
Now it's $4,000 a month. So now you got to do a video just to pay for that $4,000 a month. Then you got to pay for the lights, right? Then when you open up the studio, it's bare bones, right? Then you got to build the props. Then you got to build the studio. Then you got to build reception. And are you going to be the person that's going to be up running your front desk? Now you have a salary. Then you have, you know, or you pay this person hourly.
So, there's so much. Yeah, so much to it, man.
Yeah, once you go into like an actual brick and mortar and like an actual building and doing things like, it's like 1,000 different things. But if you can do it yourself from home, I mean, the only thing that a brick and mortar brings is like you get a lot more space.
Well, and then you could bring clients in. You know, a lot of the biggest struggles I have with my clients is we're running out of places to film at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we want these cool things and you can't find them nowhere. Like, oh, can we get the cool Baptist church somewhere? It's like, I've called 20 Baptist churches. None of them are feeling it.
Yeah.
None of them want to do it. We could build a Baptist church set if we had the spot.
Mm-hmm.
So it can bring in a lot more business. And then you got places to meet. Like now we're in my home. We're in my small production room that I've built for clients that I like. People I'm cool with, people I feel comfortable bringing into my home.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable bringing a lot of people into my home. So I'm losing a lot there too. If I could... You know, you got a meeting room. You got places where bigger people could come find you. You got podcast studio. You have photography studio. You have. There is something to be built in a brick and mortar spot. So I keep a hope of that. Like, yeah, I'm comfortable doing it how I do it now, but sometimes I feel like I know that I could build more and better. I know there's going to be sacrifices involved.
Yeah.
I'm not dumb enough to think that there ain't going to be sacrifices. Like, I know when you talk to me, you can hear my cynicalness kick in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what about this? What if we do this? What if we do this? It's because I'm thinking about all these things.
Yeah.
I'm not going in blind for nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
just think about it this way as a consumer standpoint, right? Let's say if I'm sitting at a table and I'm talking to somebody and the person's like, let's meet at a Starbucks, right? And we meet at a Starbucks and we're going over this big project and we're like, okay, well, we got to find you a spot to do this shoot, and then we're going to find another spot to do this shoot, and then we're going to find another spot to do this one, right? And we're going to charge you $10,000 for this.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to be like, maybe, right? Or if you sat down with somebody and they go, okay, in Studio A, we're gonna build the church room, right? And then Studio B, this is where we're gonna do this thing at. And then in the Studio C, we're all gonna do this on location on the spot, right? And then it just sounds like, oh, he's doing all of this in one location. He's building the props himself rather than us renting different places. Oh, that's a lot more work. It just makes a lot more sense in somebody's head. They're like, okay, yeah, I can see that as a in the consumer standpoint. It's just like I feel a lot more comfortable spending money if I'm like, damn, they're building all of this for me. This is my shit, rather than saying, okay, well, on this we got to go over here.
They could honestly get it cheaper like that too, though, because if I have to go and hire a bunch of people to build stuff in all these different locations, or I have to go rent the location. Say I go rent a church and it costs me $500,000, whatever it is. I have to go rent another spot, costs me $500,000. I have to go rent another spot, $500,000. Then we have to go build the spots on there. Another $500,000, $500,000, $500,000. I have to rent out to these people. Now I got to pay this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. $500,000, $500,000. Now your grand total is $15,000. We could have made it at the studio for $7,000.
Yep.
You know, because I got to get paid too at the end of the day, or there's no reason for me to hire 17 people. That's a job for me too. Yeah. I got to hire 17 people. I got to spend a whole week location scouting. I have to do all this and write the treatment, and it takes a whole month to get your project in, and I get $500 at the end of the day. Yeah. Like, it doesn't make any sense at that. So if you got a spot, and even if you got a spot with like things they could pick from, because a lot of the people I work with don't really know. Yeah. And because they don't know what's available. Right. Same. I'm the same way. It's hard to know what's available. But if you have spots, it's like, dude, I have this one. If you don't like too much, this is an all black room. We got spotlights in here. We have this. We have a church in this one. We have a hospital room in this one. If you got anything sick or anything like that, or we have
got this the Hanada virus.
Yeah, well, I'm saying it's like it just gives people a direction as well. So if you could build a bunch of stuff, if you build it, they will come type thing. You know, so if you build a bunch of rooms and a bunch of things that people are like, you know, I never thought about doing a podcast until I seen your podcast rooms. Mm-hmm. Boom, you got that. I never really knew I needed a photo shoot with my album. Mm-hmm. Boom, you can get a photo shoot here. We got this backdrop, this backdrop, this backdrop, this backdrop. We don't have to go buy stuff or anything like that. We already have it ready right here for you. Mm-hmm. You know, customizable sets. You got a courtroom. It's customizable, so everybody's not using the same thing. You know, you got different seat covers or different judge outfits or different people and different things. You know, and it's, I think that would bring people in too, because people see stuff and it sparks. You ever seen something and be like, dude, I'd love to make a song about that, about something like that. Right. It's the same thing for an artist. They'll see a music video and the dude was in like a courtroom or a jail cell, and they're like, dude, if I had a jail cell, I would have loved to do that. It's like, I got you one right back here.
Yeah, we built one for Sammy's kids.
I even got a Playboy under the mattress for you, like to really make it feel. You know what I mean? So I think there's something good about having it. I do see how it gets scary. Yeah. Especially because I'm now super stable. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, do I want to get rid of my stability to build more? Yeah. And the truth is, yes, I am prone to chaos. I love it. I love it because it keeps me on my toes.
Yeah, the best way to make money is you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I have gotten so comfortable lately. It's like I have made more money this year than I probably ever have in my life. Mm-hmm. I've done great. My videos are so good right now. I'm so proud of where it is. And I could see myself like, I'm not pushing it anymore. I'm not online like, hey, we're doing a discount this month. Da, da, da. I'm not doing any of that. It's almost like I'm losing the hunger. Yeah. So if I have to like cover more things, it makes me hungry, and I fucking work good. Yeah. Under pressure. Yeah. I work like a fucking dog, dude.
That's a good point to look at it too. We don't have to talk about it too much, but that's always stay too. Like, if you pay somebody a high salary, right? If you pay somebody a high salary and like, let's say there's commission, if you go into a job, right, and you're getting paid $90,000 in commission, right, you're going to be like, I get paid $90,000, right? So I can just come in, clock in, not do shit, and I know how much money I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make $90,000, so I'm gonna budget my bills to live off of $90,000, right? But if I say I'm gonna pay you $25,000 a year plus commission, right? Then you're gonna come in there, you're gonna say, I can't live off of $25,000. So now I got to actually bust my ass off and make that money to pay my bills.
Got to keep that hunger in there.
Right. Because if you're there and it's set in stone.
Give them a good percentage.
Right.
You still got to pay good. Yeah. But if it's like paying good on a percentage, like that's smart, commission based. Because it keeps people hungry. But then you want to make sure that your A players are getting paid right. Like you cut out your 3 C players and take 3 of those and give it to your A player.
You
give all 3 of them. Huh?
You read that somewhere.
$100 million offers. Alex Hormozi.
I was like, I know that somewhere. That's such a good line, bro.
Dog, man. He's a dog, bro.
I was like, I know that fucking line from somewhere.
I love Alex Hormozi because he's like, he says a lot of esoteric stuff, but like our age kind of guy. So he talks like us.
Scrolling back to like your book. I know.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I know. Well, and the reason why I'm just curious about your book, bro, is just like, I don't know, man. Just writing a book, it just seems very like interesting, right? Because it's like, you got to make it juicy enough for people to want to read it, right? Because like nobody's gonna read some fucking super boring shit, like John Smith who's a fucking accountant down the street is gonna write a book. Is I woke up one morning, went down the street, and the villain in his book is his boss. He yelled at me today because I didn't get my quota turned in by 5:00. Nobody wants to fucking read that. That's a
great example.
Yeah, nobody wants to read that dumb shit. But I'm just curious, like, what was the most like difficult part in your life, and what did it teach you? Right, like what was like the most difficult thing that you went through, and like what knowledge did you bring from that?
Well, that's kind of where I started with the book. First, I let people know that this wasn't basically. I didn't say it in these words, but it isn't a pissing contest. Trauma is not a pissing contest. Trauma is trauma. I don't care if it looks different from everybody. Mm-hmm. So some people were super neglected their whole life. Some people look like they had everything, but didn't feel emotionally safe. Some people were beat, so that trauma is trauma. And the book is for people who survived trauma. And it's called The Self-Awareness Gap. And what that means is, like for me, I was just tired of living the way I was living, so I gave up everything. Mm-hmm. And I cover all of it in the book. I mean, and when I mean everything, brother, I gave up everything. Like no TV, no music, I quit smoking, I quit listening to music, I quit making music. I read every psychology book, every trauma book. I went to therapy. I was doing everything. One day my old lady even looked at me and said, "You're a fucking monk." I thought it was funny, There's a point of ego that kind of gets it. But the problem was, it's like I was so ready to just grow and do better with my life. I thought that I could brute force my way through it. Mm-hmm. But the problem was I spent 30 years suppressing all my pain and suppressing everything. Like I wouldn't acknowledge anything. To me, back then it was soft to acknowledge it. Mm-hmm. You go through prison, you go through jails and boys' schools and youth centers, and this happened to you and that happened to you and that happened to you. And you never discuss it. You never talk about it. It just, the days had to move on, and it's all suppressed. But then you go and you try your hardest to just change your life, and you're doing everything you can, and all of a sudden you're fucking unraveling because you feel so terrible. And none of my therapists could somehow figure this out. Why am I doing all this? And I think they thought I was lying. Like, you guys don't understand. I'm dedicating my life to this. There's absolutely nothing more that I could give, because I gave everything, more than anybody would even know. I gave every part of my life to this mission, and I felt like complete shit. The problem was what they didn't know, what none of their psychology books would tell you, because this kind of trauma can't be put on paper, is there is a gap between your awareness and the trauma. You become, or the healing. I'm sorry. There's a gap between your awareness and the healing. The problem is you become, when you do all this self-help work, you become so aware of everything that you have ever suppressed. All the pain and all the neglect, all the loneliness, all the warmth you never felt, the childhood you missed. I spent my whole life avoiding it. You know, I didn't care. It was what it is what it was. But when I became so obsessed with healing, all of it hit me at once. So instead of reliving what happened that day, I'm reliving everything that's ever happened to me in my life.
So I have a question for that. So when you were at your lowest, right, and you noticed you were at your lowest, what did that reveal or tell you about yourself?
I honestly thought I was permanently broken. I thought I was done. Because when you're giving it everything you got and you feel worse than you ever have, and you're still triggered, you're still, overwhelmed in crowds, and you're still sad all the time, there is a really dark thoughts that you have, and it's, I am permanently broken. And it's a really dark spot to be at. And that's really why I wanted the book, because that spot when you feel permanently broken isn't true, but things don't work on your timeline.
Right, yeah.
You have to let these lessons sit into your nervous system. I'm there 5 years later, and I'm like, I'm finally starting to feel good. I'm not crying every day anymore. I could take a car ride without breaking down. I can go into a store without trying to hide that I'm crying to my kids, because like deep down I'm like just in so much pain all the time.
But you can't go to a restaurant and drink out of a normal cup.
Still can't do that.
It's okay. It's okay.
I went to a Greek restaurant yesterday, and I got a plastic cup, and dude looked at me like I was crazy. And he brought me those little fucking tablecloth fucking things in the.
For anybody who doesn't know Brian does not drink out of cups at restaurants, and he always asks for plastic utensils. I call him hood bougie. He goes in, plastic fork, please. Must be wrapped in the cellophane for me before I indulge into your greatest meal. Just throwing it out there.
The guy yesterday looked at me so crazy about it. It's like in this super nice Greek restaurant, and I'm like, slid the silverware over. I'm like, let me get a plastic fork.
Yeah,
please.
let me get a.
I like look all hood and ratchet.
Yeah.
Like there's all these uppity people everywhere. I'm here tatted up, looking crazy, and I'm like, I'm not using none of that shit.
Yeah,
these guys are
using those fork spoons. He's like, I'll take a fapoon, please.
Spork.
Let me take a fapoon.
It's a spork, bro. It's a sport.
It's a fapoon. But anyways, so like I know writing this book, right? You had to like relive some of the fucking trauma.
So much.
So what was the hardest part? Like what was the hardest part in the book? Like what part in the book was the hardest for you to write?
No, reliving my childhood.
Yeah, was it like a certain point? Like I don't know how the book is laid out. So like, was it like a certain chapter, or was it like it's just a certain topic, or?
There was my first chapter is nobody told me it would get worse, and then my second chapter is called Creating a Monster, right? And I didn't put this in the book, but basically it was my Jekyll and Hyde. Right, I would be a good, loving person, and then I'd have this other person come out of me. But what I didn't realize till later is that person was my survival instinct building something to protect me. So when I wasn't protected, he would come along. So in this chapter, I just wanted to say what the chapter was about. But in this chapter of Creating a Monster, I had to relive a lot of what I thought could have possibly made my trauma. So I had to cover a lot. I mean, I covered... It's really hard to say. It's just so embarrassing, and it's vulnerable. I think that's why I put it on paper instead of talking about it mostly, because I did have to talk about some things that are really kind of embarrassing. It's like
I shit myself.
Nothing like that. Well, so it starts with me telling people what happened before I was even born. Like, so my mom and dad being addicted to meth, right? And then my dad used to disappear all the time. And then one time when my dad disappeared, my mother started seeing someone else. He disappeared for weeks at a time. This is no jab at her. So one time when he left, she started seeing somebody else. Apparently my dad got back into the picture, and he said she needed to get an abortion, right? He didn't know if I was his. So in his defense, I was not a fan of my dad. He died last year alone by himself, as he probably should have. It's probably bad to say, but he told her to get an abortion. My mom agreed. She went to the clinic with me. She was in the abortion clinic, and they took too long to call her name, right?
And she left.
She's always felt things really deeply too. So maybe the meth addiction kind of kept that away, because that changes your brain chemistry a little bit. But that deep side of her probably kicked in midway, and she was like, I can't kill this baby. And she left, like, slow service in a waiting room is the reason I'm alive.
Damn.
Yeah, so she ends up leaving. My father was furious, right? So he kicked her out. My mom, still addicted to drugs, pregnant with me, doing meth on the streets, right? My dad took my brother and sister, went off. I was born with meth in my system. So maybe, I think that's just one of the first things that I thought I wanted to start early. Like, why is my fight or flight system so ahead of my prefrontal cortex? Your prefrontal cortex is like involved in your impulse control and things like that. A lot of times I didn't have impulse control. I had explosions, right? So I had to relive that kind of stuff. Like, what could this happen? So I'm connecting dots in the first part of the book, and that was one of them. And then she, so I mean, being born addicted to meth definitely probably had something to develop my survival instinct, because, you know, kicking, screaming, she's addicted. So we didn't have any steady place at all. We used to run the streets. I remember waking up on a creek with, you know, we lived there. We lived on a creek, like me and my mom and some random guy I don't know.
Oh, wow. His name was Bob.
Yeah, I said something about it in the book about me waking up. I was scared of some noise that was happening. There was like some loud noise and shit, and I was just terrified. We was out it's dark in the middle of California on a creek, and he told me it was a beaver.
Yeah,
and that calmed me down enough to let me go back to sleep. But then
I just can never experience, like, as a adult myself, I can't imagine, like, because you know how normally kids come in, I'm like, Dad, I had a I'm not laughing at your trauma, but like, just
it's okay. I laugh at it sometimes.
It's like normally, like, your kids come in like, Dad, I heard something, and like you're just like, oh, that's just you know, the washer and dryer beeping, right? But I couldn't imagine telling my kids, like, that's just a beaver in the creek. Go back to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the shrimp singing. Like, those are the crawdads. You'll be fine. Go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, like,
but that's
crazy.
the fact. Yeah. I mean, and that's where it comes from. There's a foundation there that you see. It's like my whole foundation of life was built on, you know, surviving.
Yeah.
Right. So I can't be that surprised that my survival instinct got so big when those were my baselines. Like, we would wake up different places all the time. Yeah. And I would never know. And then, you know, God bless my mom's soul. And I don't want to put her story out, because let me just be clear. My mom is great now. She has developed herself. She has done so much better, worked so hard. She's great. My kids love her. I have a great relationship. I have zero complaints.
Yeah.
It's great. But these were early. She had her own trauma too. So this is not me pointing fingers at her. This was a wounded woman.
Yeah.
That was stuck.
So, speaking of wounds, right? When you wrote this book, okay, and you're putting your emotions down, right, and you're like thinking and you're just like reliving, do you think that when you wrote this book that it helped you heal wounds, or did it reopen those wounds?
Oh no, I just said this. It helped me heal.
Okay.
It's funny because I was just talking to Crystal, and I said, she was talking about, she wanted to write a book about her trauma because when her mom was murdered a couple years ago. And I told her, when I wrote my book, it was liberating. I never put these things on paper. There's things in there I've never told anyone. Not even my therapist. You know what I mean? I never told anybody these things. And there's feelings deep down inside that you don't know that you have to. It's almost like journaling. but you're journaling in a way that can help other people.
Yeah.
So not only was it I'm putting my most vulnerable moments on paper, these vulnerable moments are setting the tone for me to bring value. So it isn't just a memoir. It only starts like that because I had to almost try to connect the dots of where the trauma came from. So there's a few experiences in there. Like I didn't want to make it all about me, but I think it was important to get to know the story. This is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. And then this is where I said, no more. Mm-hmm. I cannot be this person anymore. But I spent so long suppressing all that when I went so hard to self-help, I almost couldn't handle it because all the things that I had suppressed all over that time all hit me at once, and I was fighting a million demons, 30 years of demons in that short amount of time. Yeah. And that's why this book is so important. It wasn't a memoir of like, oh, feel bad for me. It's a memoir of this, what it looks like when your whole baseline is built on trauma. And again, people's trauma looks different. Mm-hmm. And I don't want nobody to look at my trauma or think about it like, oh, I had it worse, or mine wasn't that bad, so it doesn't count. Mm-hmm. That's going to help nobody. Yeah. Right? Trauma is fucking trauma. And if it curved the way your nervous system reacts, then this book is to help. Because when people get to self-help and they've been suppressing things so long, they're going to go to such a fucking dark place, and nobody's going to have the language for it. Mm-hmm. Not the therapist. They don't know. They know what's on paper. You need to do this. You need to do that. They don't know what it feels like to suppress 30 years of pain or 40 years or 50 years or however old somebody is. They have no idea what it's like to suppress that much pain and then bring it all to the light at once. So this is for people that are going through that healing stage and going to go, I have to know, because I almost gave up in that stage. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, I was dark. I felt permanently broken. And what would have happened if I'd have gave up? Yeah. Right?
That piggybacks. And I don't want to cut you off, but that kind of piggybacks into my next question. Is like, for people who are reading your book and they're like going through the same thing, not exactly the same thing, but they're going through things similar of what you went through, what would you tell them? Like, if you were face to face with them, like, what would you want them to experience while they're reading your book?
Well, I would let them know that it's going to get dark, because you're just. I have a good analogy in the book. It's like cleaning your room, but like deep cleaning your room, right? Mm-hmm. You ever deep clean something and you had to like pull everything out? Like you empty your closet out, you empty the dressers out, the drawers, because you're deep cleaning. And you look up and your room is way worse than it started before. Yeah. But that isn't proof that you're not cleaning. That just means you're getting all in the crevices. Yeah. And it's going to be amazingly painful for a while. But my problem was I thought that meant I was broken because nobody had the language for me. So I went to like self-help to like, oh, fuck. I'm actually fucked. I'm fucking fucked, okay? But I wasn't. I needed time. And that's why I would tell somebody, the self-help stuff, it's not going to feel like it's working at first. The meditations, the breath works, the working out, the eating healthy, the sunlight in your eyes, the sleeping, all the boring fucking things that everybody wants to just go across like it doesn't mean anything. That shit isn't going to feel like it's doing anything, but it's doing everything. I would say it's just kind of just like working out. Yeah. You don't see anything at first. Nothing. But then all of a sudden, 6 months later, feel great. It's a little slower than that, though, depending how much trauma that you've suppressed throughout your life. Yeah. So it's like, get through it. Slow down. Get through it. Yeah. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Don't give up right now. Right now is you fighting every demon you've ever had.
Yeah. So after all of this, right? What does peace look like for you now? Like, what is your definition of peace for you now? Since you've experienced it, you've managed it, you've written a book about it. Now now you're a completely different you now, right? So what does peace mean to you now?
Well, I think a big problem that I had there was I was always chasing the perfect version of myself. Mm-hmm. I thought that it had a finish line, basically. Mm-hmm. I thought that one day I would find that perfect version of me, and that would be that,
Mm-hmm.
right? I had almost changed the way I looked at it because I still get triggered sometimes. I still get sad sometimes. I still get mad. I still feel myself super overwhelmed in crowds. If I hear people cheer too much, I still get that ball in my throat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But peace to me now looks like looking at it a little differently. It got a little easier. I did cut down on my triggers. I do feel better. I can walk through the grocery store and not want to fucking break down and run out of there, you know? I was telling you, I went to Buc-ee's last night. It's like, it's so packed all the time.
Yeah.
It still fucks with me a little bit. Peace to me looked like that's still fucking with me. I'm still okay. I could still walk through here, go grab my fudge or whatever it is.
Fudge was good.
Yeah, that was peace to me. It was never, I really did think there was just a finish line, but that was never the case. It was just finding the version of me healed enough to get through things. I can have a bad day and it doesn't shape my entire identity anymore.
Yeah. I got one more question for you.
I love it. Yeah, go ahead.
One more question for you. For the people who are reading your book and they read your last page of your book, okay, and as they're closing your book, what do you want them to think about? And what do you want them to change, like, in their mind after, or what do you want them to gain after reading the final pages of your book? Like, damn, this is a good book, or you want them to feel like, damn, you know, what do you want them to change, right? So, if that makes sense.
I just want them to have the knowledge to approach healing differently than I did. I want them to look at healing like this isn't a race. Not everything is good. You're not going to become some enlightened version of yourself overnight. Mm-hmm. And I just want them to have the perspective. And that's why I put my memoir part in there along with everything that helps. I even put structures, everything that did help me throughout. Like, and then I even put what next. I answer all these questions in the book. Mm-hmm. What I want from people to have, or this is why I wrote it. Off top, not great with wordy words. But anyway, but I just want people to approach healing better. You know, and again, they're gonna go through these therapists and psychologists and things like that. These people know a lot from the books. You know, they're book smart about it. And I'm not taking anything away from them. We need those people to give us language to what they're feeling or to what we're feeling, because we need to know, we have to identify our opponents. They have no idea what it's like to live like that.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these people were raised great. They, you know, live great. Unless you lived it, you have no fucking idea. So I want my friends or strangers or whoever reads it to close the book and say, I'm going to really try all of this, and I know that it's not going to work overnight. I know that it might take me 5 years, but just look at the success. Look what could happen with little 10th Street Brian. You know, and I still got work to do. Let's not act like I'm perfect right now, but from where I came from to where I am now, that's a big ass gap, my friend. That's a big gap. Yeah. So
I love it, man. I love it. Are you getting it published and like sold on Amazon, or?
See, I was gonna do the self-publishing route. That they do this Amazon KDP thing. Then you could do ebooks, and then I can get on Audible and things like that, which is really cool. But I really think this has enough value to where maybe I can sit back and try to find a better route for it, somewhere where I can publish it.
If you were to put it on Audible, are you gonna read it?
That's be tough for me.
Chapter 1, brother.
I don't smoke no. That's chapter 1. But it was funny because there was a part where I was talking about outrunning the cops. Yeah. And I looked at Crystal. I said, "Dustin, they bitch ass." And she said, you need the commentary. I was like, this is going to ruin it for everybody. Yeah. I can't say, Dustin, they bitch ass.
You can.
I could.
I was reading because Jordan just was diagnosed with BPD.
That was one of my diagnoses too.
Right, BPD. And then like I've dedicated my entire life after I found that out to try to understand what BPD is, right? And this is, I don't know if this is off topic, but the reason why I'm saying this, I have a point for this, but so like, you know, me and Jordan had a very rocky relationship, right? And it was on and off on and off, and I, filed for divorce twice, and all these different things because she had BPD, and
It's a hard thing to get through.
it is probably the most difficult, right?
It's hard for her too.
Yes, and so what I didn't realize that was just that, right? And so like, I actually got a symbol on here. It's kind of it's mental health awareness, just because like I realized that a lot of people that I surround myself with have mental illnesses, right? And I shouldn't say mental illnesses, but like they have BPD, or they have bipolar, or they have anxiety, they have depression, and people who don't have it, they don't understand, right? And so we never, instead of looking at people and say, let me try to understand you, they're like, that dude's a fucking asshole, right? And so as I started to learn it, I've read books and books and books and books and books. I think I'm on like my 12th book about learning BPD. I don't think you and I ever had a conversation about this, but after that long ass car ride,
I learned a lot about it too. I could bet.
Huh?
Yeah, I bet I could. I could help you through that.
Yeah. So after that long ass that car ride, that most
when we went to Nashville.
Yeah, I just I started to study and started to learn it, and like we've been doing so much better now, just because like I know that everything that she experiences, right, she doesn't have control over it, right? Or if she thinks of something in her head, right, she thinks something is this big, it's truly this big, right? And then so what I learned is like there's no telling somebody with BPD that they're wrong.
Hey, Jordan would benefit from this book.
She would. That's why I'm bringing it up, because I'm like,
I got her a copy on me, brother.
Right, there you go. And it's like, and so what I understand, and what I'm learning is DBT therapy, or DHT or DHB.
You're talking about dialectical behavior therapy.
It's something.
Basically, tell me your version of it.
So, for me it works. Everybody's case is different, but like in my head, right? Because I have one of my good friends also has BPD, and I didn't realize it. And then so I started to change, not only to how I talk to people with BPD, but I started using this like this way of talking to everybody, right? And it's just made life so much easier. Like, in like for example, me and Jordan will have an argument, right? And instead of sitting there saying, because she doesn't know what she's doing. Like, she might do something and it might be fucking wrong. But instead of me saying, hey, you're wrong, and then she's like, I'm not wrong. And I'm like, well, even if I have physical proof, like, no, look, you're wrong, right? That will never make the situation better. So instead of trying to argue on who's right and who's wrong, what I learned to do is says, understand. And then instead of figuring out who's right or wrong, try to figure out how you can move forward from it and solve the issue, right? And there's a lot of things. It's called I think it's called step up. You basically you talk to them, you understand where they're coming from, right? You let them know where you're coming from, right? Then you repeat it back to them. All these different things like, hey, I understand you're feeling this, right? And can you tell me why you're feeling this? But yeah, so like learning about it, I will also love to read the book myself, and then read the book with Jordan as well too. But
yeah, DBT dialect. I can never say this. I've never been able to. Dialectical behavior therapy is what it is, which is a great one. I didn't want to slaughter it. I studied a lot of this stuff too, because BPD was one of the diagnoses that got me. My stuff kind of changed depending on who I was sitting across. Like one said major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder. The next said complex post-traumatic stress disorder. The next one said BPD, and the next one after that said PTSD. So what was clear to me is it was all trauma-based. Every one of them is from a trauma
But that's perspective. What makes BPD the most difficult thing to deal with, because the reason why it's called borderline, right? And what I learned is because the reason why it's called borderline is because it's borderlining all of those things, and so that's why people get mixed diagnosed with a lot of things. Well,
that's not why that's called that. It's called borderline personality disorder because it was like border between like normal and like psychosis.
Yeah, so like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, like all those different things. So when dissecting bipolar disorder, and I'm not telling you diagnosis, I'm just learning what the conversations that I had with Jordan's therapist and the things that I've read. There's nine points of somebody who's diagnosed with bipolar, right? And as long as somebody targets 5 of those things. Yep. Right, then obviously you can diagnose them with bipolar.
Man, it's been a while since I did that. It was like 5 years ago. I went through all that. You're making me relive this shit. I'm like, I remember that. I remember. All that.
And so I'm just learning all that. So it's cool to. I shouldn't say it's cool, but it's interesting to read. A book that's basically somebody who experienced that with different trauma as well too. But
I guess I didn't really cover anything that somebody could do for me. I've always been like let me do it myself. But if I was ever to give you like advice of what you could do for her as somebody with BPD, it's just, this is like one of the most powerful ones. Just reassure her. Mm-hmm. We need constant reassurance. Yeah. Like, we need I love yous all the time. We need, you might have said it 5 minutes ago. Say it again. Yeah. You're beautiful. Say it again. Mm-hmm. You're like, I just told you yesterday I would never fucking treat you like that again. Tell her again today. Yeah. Constant reassurance.
I learned that the hard way, because before I found out that she had BPD, that was one of the most difficult things as a husband that I dealt with, right? It was, you don't love me. Yeah. You don't do this enough.
It's like, dude, I just told you I loved you 97 times last week.
And before I knew what it was, in my head, it used to make me go so fucking crazy, bro. I used to be like, I do all of these things for you, and I do these things for you, and I do these things for you. And then in my head, I'm like, if I'm not perfect, and if I'm not doing things how I need to be doing it, then you just rip all that away from me and act like I don't do shit for you. Right. And then it just starts a fight, and it's just a fucking spiral. And then, but yes, I get it.
Kudos to you for like going and diving in and doing that to save your marriage. That's rough. So awesome. It's like, I fought a lot of my stuff on my own. Mm-hmm. I was like my kid's mom, Grace's mom, Crystal. She has always been really calm and really cool about that. So she didn't really have to change too much. It was me that needed to do it. But I mean, like, shout out to you. Like, you guys was on the edge of divorce, and instead of accepting that, you said, no, let me learn what this means and be there for it. Like, wow.
I just feel like
that's so validating to her.
Yeah.
Like, how fucking validating. Like, she probably lit up, bro, more than you know. Like, you took the time to get to know her pain. And that's a spot. I won't even know how to explain that. Like, somebody taking time to get to know your deep trauma. Yeah. Wow, that's fucking beautiful, dude. God damn.
And the thing that's the most difficult is, like, we've been together for 10 years, right? And so it's been rough, but after being with her for 10 years, it'll be wrong for me to not try. Once I know it's something that's not fully in her power, so as her husband and somebody who loves her, I owe it to her to say, like, hey, I get it. Things have been tough, right? But I now know that you can't control everything, or like sometimes that you're thinking isn't always true. But instead of,
don't say that.
I know.
Don't fucking.
I learned that the hard way, because then I got you think I'm fucking crazy?
Don't never admit.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. But in my head, I know. In my head, like, because
that's all you got to do is just know that their emotions aren't always true. Yes. But don't say your emotions ain't true. Yeah.
You're always validate. Always validate.
Because they are true in a way, right? It's just bigger than what it needs to be. And you just got to, sometimes it just takes a little time and reassurance. Yeah. Right? There's no real great fast way to jump out of like a BPD episode or something like that. It's exactly what you're doing. I do love you. I'm going to be here for you. You calm down a little bit or whatever, however you say it. Just, I'll be here for you in just a little bit. I'm going to take a little second too, because I'm human as well.
Start playing the Friends theme song. I'll be there for you.
There you go. But that's so, I mean, I just really, I as somebody that has been diagnosed with like every trauma fucking thing they could throw at you, like, that's so beautiful that you just took that time out for her. And I hope she sees that. Jordan, I hope you fucking see that. We love you. And you just know it, okay?
But also helped me talk to like a lot of my other friends. Like I have friends that I deal with as well too.
Probably me.
You and I never had a bad conversation. You know,
You've always been really. You're easy to deal with, though. For me, I don't have sex with you though, so that's probably helps.
But you could. Just kidding.
He's not kidding.
You just never tried, buddy. That's the thing.
But I know that it gets deeper. With relationships, things get rocky, regardless if you want them to or not. Like, it just happens. Sometimes it's part of the ups and downs of relationships. But like being in a relationship with somebody with BPD is so hard, and your patience got to be crazy because you do have to be patient. Yeah. And the only healthy relationship I ever had was with somebody crazy patient. Yeah. Like, that would give me a second. Instead of fueling the trigger and turning everything into a war, you step back and just, hey, I get it. You're going through a lot right now. And I probably made you feel this way. And I'm sorry if I made you feel this way. Let me just reassure you that you are the love of my life. Yeah. You are great to me. You're a great person. And I'm sorry that you have to go through this. You know, I don't have all the perfect words for it either, and I live it. So yeah,
we're going to see in this book. I'm going to put it on the Audible.
I ran it through, I think it's called 11 Labs. And because I fucking hate reading over, I already had to write it and relive it.
It just read it to you?
Yeah, and I got the version for it where I could just hear it over and over. I already found a flaw in it. So I get my thing tomorrow. There was one part where I said, I wasn't scared of becoming a father. And then I wasn't scared of becoming a father. I was like, oh, come on, that fucking shit. I got like 12 versions. Right? I sent it off to an editor. Pretty sure he used ChatGPT. Pissed me off, so I went through and edited it myself. Used some of like the structure that they did because I have a good structure with my writing, but I'm still kind of like rough around the edges. So I'll say some shit. So I'm like, how can I reword this? So I can't say it wasn't super beneficial. It was, but I can see some AI. Yeah. You can hear it though. That's not this. This is that. That's not love. That's reassurance or whatever it is. You know how fucking AI talks. Yeah. I can't stand it. Yeah. I can't stand the structure of it was a young, lonely, tall, black, green, orange boy. And like, shut up. Yeah. Like, I didn't need to hear all that. I hate that. But I'm on like draft like 13, dude. I'm not kidding. And I thought I had it done, and I found one little flaw in it. Pissed me clean
You're
off.
Like, fuck that.
I'm mad, and I already sent out for it too. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's close out and let's see what's next for you on the music scene. What are you dropping? Give yourself a shout out, man. What are you pushing right now?
So right now I'm pushing a song. It's produced by Colt Graves, who signed to Timberland and also time to bleep. And also produced by Rain Makes Music. It's called Now They're Around. It's going to be one of the songs in my 8-song EP that we're creating.
It's called Now They're Around?
Now They Around.
Now They Around. It was so funny because when I was singing along with it, I thought it said, riding around. Yeah. That's why one of the videos, I was like, let's do a car mount. Yeah. You was like, no, it doesn't work.
But the song is about, nobody cares to look at you when you're nothing, right? But then once they start seeing some spark popping up, and they start seeing you get big, and they start seeing, you get shiny things, and you getting some clout on your name. Now everybody wants to be your friend. Hey, how you doing? Hey, we went to high school together. Hey, I hope you're doing good. And all your friends wants to start becoming closer, and everybody wants to come invite you to dinner. And that's what the song's about. It's like, where was you when I was down? Now I'm up.
So funny. Yeah. Because that seemed like the beginning of our conversation.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. It's like, and I have a couple songs like that. It's just like, nobody likes you unless you bring something to the table, right? Unless you benefit them in a certain way that,
I like you, bro.
I know, thank you. But you also know the real me rather than the fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I know the bougie you too.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like seeing it. I like seeing you come up, and I learn from it too. I take everything as a lesson. I'm going to get me a Tesla too, if it can fit on my equipment.
And since we're closing out, my last question for you is, after the book, what is next for you? A movie.
Well, I'm working on a documentary.
Okay.
Predator Catcher documentary with my friend Eric Schmutt.
Okay.
If I said his name wrong, I'm sorry. It's Smutty or Schmutt. That's my guy, though. I know PCI, Predator Catcher, Eric, Indianapolis Predator Catcher. We are going to get every Predator Catcher that we can in this documentary, right? And this isn't just praise Predator Catchers. We're like getting deep. Are these heroes or are these vigilantes?
Batman.
Are they Batman?
Yeah.
Are they Batman? I personally think they're Batman. I'm going to keep my stuff out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to present the good and the bad. I want to let the audience kind of decide.
Like the guys who like walk up and they slap them. They be like, are these guys
Exactly.
doing justice, or are these guys low key villains as well?
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's the kind of things I want to get into. Like, where is it that we cross the line? Or where is it? Because my guy Eric does it by the book. He's not hurting nobody or nothing. Like, he's going to ruin your life. Mm-hmm. But you tried to ruin a child's life. Right. So, but he's not going to hurt you or anything like that. He's going to tell you that straight up. I'm not keeping you here. I'm not going to hurt you. I have all this evidence. We're going to do this right. He has 100% conviction rate when they go to court.
Doesn't slap them.
Yeah, and doesn't touch them. Right. So and that's something that we have talked about a lot too. So that's something we want to come off in the documentary. Like, where are we drawing the line at?
Yeah.
Where is the line between hero and vigilante? Super huge documentary. After that, another movie, of course. I have some ideas ready. I haven't laid out my exact blueprint yet. I've wrote 2 scripts. Do them out. Not exactly excited. I have such a hill to climb because Marijuambies did so great. But I wasn't scared with Marijuambies. I didn't care how it came out. I just knew I wanted to get something done. I needed to get it out. But now I feel like there's kind of a perfection to it. Yeah. It's like keeping me held back.
Yeah.
And I have to learn to get rid of that and just get back to the create. Have fun, create with your bros. And
two final closing statements. And that's it. I'm done for real.
No, you're good.
Okay. First question is, if you create a documentary off this book, can I play you as a person?
That'd be fucking funny.
Can I do that?
Sure. You could play little baby me.
Yeah, I could come out.
Like, what's that noise?
What was that noise?
And I'll be the guy. It's a beaver, little motherfucker.
Go to bed, little dude.
Yeah, go to bed. It's a beaver. I'm about to slam your mom.
Eat your damn fucking campfire beans and ham and shut the fuck up. Come on, fucking Connor Prairie. And then my second question is about the vigilante and the heroes. So keep in mind, Batman was a hero, but
some seen him as a vigilante.
But he broke motherfuckers' bones. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Never killed him, but where's the Joker?
I seen this one thing. It's like, imagine you in Gotham and you go buy an eighth and Batman come through and break your arm.
Beat the shit out of you, bro.
You're like, damn, bro, I got PTSD. Bro. I just needed some weed.
But that's it.
Beat the shit out of you. Yeah, that's it. Good talking to you. It was a good talk, man.
That was a therapy session.